pleasure, and I love the design freedom, and I love the fact that the loom helps me weave better.
Now I'd like to ask you a question. How do you go about creating some of your designs?
Well, designs are, there's a lot of ways of approaching designing. And you can approach it from the aspect of what it is you're making, the scale of the item, how close it's going to be viewed, is this clothing? There's a lot of ways of looking at it. I usually sit down on my computer, turn on my software, and start fooling around. I like to play with the software. Hard to remember back when I first started designing with software because it's been a while ago, and now I have a library of designs. I have many designs that I've used, so sometimes I'll start from something that I've already done and decide that, well, I like this, but I'd like it to be a little different. Or I have a design that maybe there's a wonderful resource called handweaving.net on the internet.
Oh, Chris Brulin, thank you.
Yes, that is a great resource there. Free downloads of literally thousands of weaving designs. But I love the designing process. So usually if I've downloaded a design from handweaving.net, I'll use that as raw material. I'll use that as my base and decide how it is I'm going to use that and how I'm going to change it and what I want to do with it. So sometimes I start there. Sometimes I'll just start noodling around. You know, you put it. You decide, okay, well, what kind of a structure is this? I'm a structure kind of person. I love colors, but structure is my love. So I'll put in a particular kind of structure. Let's say I'm going to do a twill. All of these are based on a point twill. So if I'm doing a twill, I'll put in a twill threading. And if I decide that I want to have a design that includes kind of more diamond shapes or shapes that are symmetrical, of mirror symmetry, I'll probably put in a point twill. If I decide that I want something that has more of a linear look, I'll put in a straight twill. So there's a lot of ways to go. So I just sort of start playing and seeing where I go with that. The software gives you lots of help. If you have an idea, the software will help you execute that. And sometimes once you have a library of designs, you can take that and pull out a part of one design and kind of graft it into another design. So you can use what you have, and everything that you've done becomes part of your repertoire and part of what you can do. So you don't always have to start from scratch. I love designing. I love then going up to my studio and looking through my colors and saying, well, what kind of colors am I going to use and what kind of materials am I going to use? So designing and weaving is a multifaceted kind of a process. And so you just have to sort of jump in and start somewhere. You could start by saying, well, I want to make something green, or you could start out and say, well, I want to make a placemat, or you could start out and say, well, I want to do something with a twill. So you can come at it from any one of those directions, but eventually it all has to come together into the project and what it is you're doing. Well, not an easy answer, not a straightforward, just like, this is what I do. I come at it from different directions at different times, depending on how I'm feeling at the time.
As the wind blows.
As the wind blows, there I am, just doing it the way that just seems to feel right at the time.
Okay, so how do you know if multi-shaft or complex weaving is right for you?
Couple of ways, and one of them is when you're looking at textiles, this is the kind of thing that appeals to you. When you look, somebody brings in that fabulous thing for show and tell, and you go, oh, I want to weave some of that. This is what I want to be weaving. You need to have the loom that works, that will allow you to weave what you want to weave. If you're looking at these feathers and you've got a 4-shaft loom, you need to start saving your money because this is not,
that's not going to work.
You are not going to be
happy.
You are not going to be happy with that. So you sort of look at what it is that you like in textiles. If you really if you like that soft, fuzzy feel of weaving, and you don't really care about the structure or what it looks like, the 4-shaft loom is going to be fine for you, or an 8-shaft loom. But again, if you want to have any kind of imagery or changing designs or
total design freedom.
total design freedom, exactly. And you really hate crawling under your loom.
Oh,
there's
that's
that.
me.
There's that. So yeah, if not ever crawling under your loom again to tie up treadles makes sense to you, then probably a Dobby or a computer interface loom makes real sense for you.
Well, Jannie,
Yes.
thank you so much.
And this has been wonderful.
Enjoyed this. Thank you.
It's been absolutely great. Thank you, Kate.
And thank you for joining us at Talking Threads.